Welcome to your daily discussions with Dena. Today's topic is Michael Oher alleges his adoption by a white couple was all a lie. Retired football player Michael Oher, who was the inspiration behind the Oscar-winning film The Blind Side, alleges that the adoption was all a lie. He has filed a claim in court in regards to Sean and Leigh Anne having authority to make business deals in his name. Again, The Blind Side is the name of that movie that told the story of Michael Oher. He was a poor young black male teen in the foster care system due to his mother being addicted to drugs, who was unable to care for him, and his dad, who was nowhere to be found. Sean and Leigh Anne is, of course, the white family that is said to have taken Michael Oher out of the foster care system and into their homes to help him to become the football phenom that he was. Now, Oher played at Ole Miss for 4 seasons, and then he was drafted by the Baltimore Ravens in 2009. It is said that this film that starred Sandra Bullock as Leigh Anne actually made more than $300 million at the box office, and actress Sandra Bullock also received an Academy Award for her portrayal of Leigh Anne in this movie. Michael Oher recently filed a lawsuit, and he alleges that the Toohey family never actually adopted him, and they made a profit off of this lie that they adopted him. Also, in his filing, it notes that the 2000 movie paid Leigh Anne and her husband Sean and their 2 birth children each $225,000 plus 2.5% of the film's defined net proceeds. But he said that he never received a penny of these funds. Leigh Anne and Sean convinced him to sign a document in order to make them his conservators, giving the family full and legal authority to make business deals in his name in 2004. Now let's take a listen to the news report.
The 2009 film The Blind Side captured hearts on the big screen, telling the story of future NFL star Michael Oher's adoption by a wealthy Memphis family. But tonight, in a new lawsuit, Oher claims it was all a lie. The Toohey family exploited him for their own benefit, and now he wants to sever all legal ties. Oher alleges the Tooheys have falsely and publicly represented themselves as the adoptive parents of Michael, but never legally adopted him. Instead, Oher says, the couple tricked him in 2004, less than 3 months after he turned 18, into signing a document that made Sean and Leigh Anne his conservators, giving them full legal control over any of his contracts, but no familial relationship. It's a lie Oher says he discovered to his chagrin and embarrassment just 6 months ago.
Well, conservatorship is very different from an adoption. A conservatorship does not create a family relationship. It creates a legal responsibility.
With that power, the petition alleges, the Tooheys negotiated the movie deal for The Blind Side in 2006. Oher claims the family made millions in royalties, while Oher says he received no payment whatsoever. The Tooheys have not responded to comment, but in their 2010 book, In a Heartbeat, they said of the money made from the movie, "We divided it 5 ways." Sean Toohey Jr. said in an interview today the family was not surprised by the lawsuit.
There were things back in 2020, 2021 that were like, if you guys give me this much, then I won't go public with things.
Michael Oher is now 37 years old and retired after playing 8 seasons in the NFL. He is asking the court to end the conservatorship and prohibit the Tooheys from using his name and likeness and pay him his fair share.
Again, the document stated that the lie of Michael's adoptions is one upon which co-conservators Leigh Anne and Sean have enriched themselves at the expense of their ward, the undersigned Michael Oher. Because of this lie of adoption, Michael Oher is now seeking to terminate the conservatorship and requesting that the court prohibit the Tooheys from using his name and his likeness as well. He is also seeking that they pay him his fair share of profits along with unspecified compensatory and punitive damages. Now, this is reasonable to me. But the Tui son's response in this media report is classic. It may be even seen as a little bit dubious. Why wouldn't Michael Oher himself be included in the funds that they received from using his image and his likeness from this film to begin with? That is quite questionable, and is exactly why when watching this Blind Side movie from the beginning, I honestly had a lot of questions, and I asked people what did they think about it from the beginning. There were just some things that to me stood out. I know most people saw it as heartwarming because of how it was intended to be presented, but it always left me with a lot of unanswered questions. First of which was, where was the relatives of his mother? Did they give them an opportunity to care for him? Did they seek out relatives on her side? Then what about the dad or his side of the family? Why were they not contacted or offered to assist with his upbringing? Sometimes there are family members that are there and that are willing to assist in raising and rearing our children. And I am one that believes that if it is a Black child, of course, they do need to stay within Black culture and Black families. I believe this, unless there is no one there to offer them assistance. Now, I saw this movie honestly as another white savior movie, of course, and it was some of the depictions of Michael Oher's character in this movie that made it a bit questionable to me. I said back then, it honestly felt like they kind of portrayed his character like this wild, uncivilized being from a strange, wild world. I remember the part when the Leigh Anne character went back to the apartment where he had lived in the hood, and she had to go among all these drug dealers or gangsters or whatever, and she just came across as somewhat of a Karen-like person to me, in my opinion. Even in the movie, I noticed the great focus the family did put on him playing ball. And I questioned that back then, and people would say to me, well, they have to include certain things in movies that make it more appealing or interesting to the audience. Even there was a part where one of the children were trying to explain something very basic and minute to him, as if he didn't have enough common sense to distinguish whatever it was. I'm going to go back and find it specifically, but I was like, really? But Michael himself always seemed just a little bit reluctant to speak just outwardly about his Caucasian family to me. That is my opinion. But in a response to the lawsuit that was filed by Michael, the Tui's attorney claimed that Michael has been trying to shake down the family. Now, he responded in a lengthy rebuttal, and he claims he's trying to shake them down, and that the family wanted to profit off of him. Those claims are offensive to them, and that he's saying it's transparently ridiculous. But it further stated that Michael started to threaten the family about what he would do unless they paid him an 8-figure windfall. And as part of the so-called shakedown effort, this is what the lawyer is calling it, a shakedown. They refused to pay the cash, the small profit checks from the Tuis that they still deposit Mr. Oher's equal share into a trust account they set up for his son. This is a grown man. Give this man his money. But the attorney went on to say that unbeknownst to the public, Mr. Oher has actually attempted to run this play several times. What play? This is something that I felt like this family, if they were really concerned and had his best interest in mind, they would have included him in any of the profits that they received from his image and his likeness. But the lawyer continued and said, sadly, that Mr. Oher has finally found a willing enabler and filed this ludicrous lawsuit as a cynical attempt to drum up attention in the middle of his latest book tour. The question to me is, of course, why would the Tuis want to continue to have conservatorship over this adult man and over his likeness? He is more than able to control that himself. It seems very questionable to me and does cause one to wonder about their intentions from the start. Why would you not include this man in the funds that you received? Why would he not? It was on his behalf. They had no problem making sure that their own biological children were well set up for life based on his fund, his likeness, what they received from using his images. So Mr. Oher has asked for the court to issue an injunction that bars the family from using his name and likeness, and also seeks to give a full accounting. He wants a full accounting of the money the family made while using his name. Or is also seeking to be paid the fair shares of profit from the film, as well as other unspecified damages. And I wish him all the best, because something reeks about this whole thing and makes you question whose best interest were they actually looking out for. Now tell me what you think about this topic of discussion. Subscribe and leave your comment, and I will see you next time for a daily discussion with Dena. Ta-ta!
This concludes your daily discussions with Dena. Join us Monday through Friday at 12:30 p.m. Like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment.